Indeed, one more chair right there. You got us. You make some noise for my brother. Make some noise for my brother. Appreciate Stefan. Indeed, together we are stronger. Right now, we're gonna go deeper, deeper, just a little bit here. We're gonna have two queens that's gonna come forward here and bless us here. Boston White Black, the fireside chat. Make some noise. 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 Indeed, indeed, indeed. Joanna Edwards and Sheena Collier. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take over.
You have two mics? All right, all right, all right. I have the privilege and honor, and again, my name is Joanna N. Edwards with Thumbprint Realty. We are here for the Boston Wild Black Fireside Chat. We had to do it up big and put some nice seats up. I want to introduce our host, our panelists today. Our guest today moved to Boston from Albany, New York to attend Harvard Graduate School of Education. A Spelman College alum walking into one of the whitest cities in America. And instead of leaving like so many other Black professionals do, she built something. She built a home for people who could not find one. Boston Wild Black now reaches over 100,000 people. She has been named most influential Bostonian 5 times, a Boston Business Journal Power 50 movement maker, and the Harvard Club's most influential woman. She is a founder, a convener, a strategist, and today she is going to keep it real with us about what it actually looks like to build wealth in this city. Please welcome the one and only Sheena Collier. All right, so we're gonna get right into it. Sheena, so Boston Wild Black exists for a reason. On Monday, you're gonna be celebrating 6 years of existence. What does building Black wealth through real estate look like in this city right now? And give us the real picture, not the polished version.
Well, one, I just want to say what I've heard so far. I got to hear the last 2 panels, very moving. I'm always so impressed with Thumbprint and just the way that you all intentionally pour into us. I literally learn so many things every time. I'm a homeowner myself, and being able to listen to just the gems, the things that other people have access to, the information other people have that we don't have. What you all do is actually why I created Boston Wild Black. So many people know us for events, but I would say that what we're actually building is the infrastructure for belonging in cities. And belonging, community, these are words that are used a lot. I'm really trying to reframe it. Belonging it feels good, it's emotional, it's a social good, but I actually see it as economic infrastructure.
Talk about it.
Because when people belong, when you feel seen in a place, you already got me, look, y'all got me hyped up. When you feel seen in a place where you feel like your culture is valued, your humanity is seen, you invest. You stay there, you buy a home there, you start your business there, you get involved in community. And I started because of my own experience. I came here, I was in Spelman, I came here to go to Harvard, and didn't easily tap into Black community and culture here. And like Joanna said, many people just leave. I think that while it is important for us to be having conversations around things like buying real estate and other ways that we build wealth, Boston Wild Black is trying to contribute to that conversation in a different way and say, yes, entrepreneurship, wealth building really is tied to ownership. And community is one of those things that it is not a soft, feel-good thing. It actually accelerates wealth. And so I think that the more that we have spaces like this where we know each other and see each other and passing on information, that's why we exist. And I think that is how we contribute to, amongst other things, us owning more real estate in the city.
Absolutely. And I want to be really intentional by using the word we, right? Because you strategically named your organization Boston Wild Black. And, in my intro, I mentioned that, Massachusetts and Boston is the whitest city, and I would consider one of the whitest, and kind of, culturally challenging when it comes to embracing Black people. Why did you choose this work? Why Black people? And what has kept you going even when it has been hard?
Yeah, I've gotten this question a lot, especially in the last I mean, frankly, we're going to be sick. So the whole time we've existed, it's been a challenging political climate, but particularly the last year or two, people have, I think for care and for fear for me, have talked to me about changing the name. We, particularly last year, lost a lot of funding because of companies kind of recoiling and being scared to invest in something that has the name Black in it. But here's the thing, just with a business hat on, being specific about who you serve is not limiting, it's your competitive advantage, right? We get taught that Black culture and community is a deficit. One thing I'll say about Boston, I came here to get my master's in education. Most of my career, I've been here 22 years. So I worked in Boston Public Schools and Big Sister Mini on the nonprofit side and charitable side, which I love, and that's where my heart is. But I feel like one of the biggest challenges here is Black people are often seen through a deficit lens. We're always talked about through the lens of charity and not seen as a market, as consumers, as an audience. We all know that we shape culture.
Absolutely.
We
Let's clap it
shape
up for that.
cities.
Let's clap it up for that.
And so with Boston While Black, I will say there are times when I've thought about like, okay, do I need to soften this message a little bit? Do I need to be a little bit more under the radar? But then I remember how much other people profit off of our culture and our cultural influence and our community and our brands and our names. Why shouldn't we?
Right.
Why shouldn't we openly and honestly invest in ourselves and say, we have $2 trillion in spending power in this country. We, from United States to Africa to Europe, shape everything everybody else is doing. And so we should be building our businesses around that and feel and really like say it with our chest that like this is the market that we're focused on. Now that doesn't mean that what we build, I mentioned shaping the infrastructure for belonging. As I build the long-term value of this company, my hope is that what I built with an audience of Black people, I can sell to cities broadly. Everybody needs a sense of belonging. Every city is trying to keep people, particularly young people, in their city. So that's the long-term goal and value and asset. But I refuse to be, to say that it's limiting for me to focus on Black people when we are the blueprint.
Oh, thank you for that. One thing that came to mind for sure when we were putting together Real Estate Unlocked is highlighting Black wealth. As you've seen in our last panel, that there was multi-million-dollar generational wealth sitting right on that panel with home ownership. And speaking about home ownership right now, what happens to Black wealth in Boston if the next generation does not own property? What does that trajectory look like?
Yeah, and I would say even adding on commercial ownership as well, commercial real estate ownership. Whoever owns space owns a city, shapes a city. We're in someone else's spaces now, right? Like we experience this a lot with Boston While Black, where we're asking to use space. We're saying, hey, the thing we're talking about and doing is valuable. Can you allow us to use this space temporarily? And, we've been able to do that, and we broker a lot of it because people know we're bringing a valuable audience, as I'm sure is the same with you all. But at the end of the day, if we don't have the ownership of the space, if we're not able to make decisions around what happens in spaces and what conversations that we're having, we won't be able to build and continue. First of all, we won't be able to have the conversations we want to have.
Yep.
And we won't be able to really build for future generations. And so I think that what I'd love to see more of when we're having conversations around physical ownership is us also thinking about intellectual property ownership and other ways that we are building wealth together. I think that we're all contributing in different ways. We've definitely seen it with BWB and Thumbprint. Like we bring different expertise, but all of it, leading back to like who gets to control space in a city.
So thinking about, and we're going to dive a little deeper here, when we're thinking about just being an entrepreneur, being a business owner, owning a business as a Black woman, and navigating challenges, how do you tap in to your net worth, right, or network, especially when there are times where you don't want to ask for help? What does that look like for you as an entrepreneur, getting this far? Like you said, you're about to celebrate 6 years. What has that looked like for you, particularly within the last year?
Yeah, I never want to ask for help. Being a Black woman, grew up with a strong Black mama who, I think gave me the perspective of you don't ask anyone for anything, you do things on your own, and have really carried that throughout. I have 7 siblings, and people say mothers raise their daughters, love their sons. My mother taught us to be soldiers, the girls. And so it became really hard. When you're at school and going through your academic journey, I'm not saying no one helps you, but a lot of it is about your own self-efficacy. Like you are you're getting those grades, you're moving yourself forward. When you come out into the working world, especially as an entrepreneur, there's a level of humility that you have to have now because no one is building anything by themselves. No one. I don't care if they call themselves self-made, they are not building anything by themselves. And so what I have experienced as I've leveled up, if you will, as an entrepreneur is that it's just new levels of humility. So in the beginning, I was asking people to come to events, right? Then I was asking people to become a member. Then I'm asking companies to invest in what we're building. And now I'm asking people to financially invest. I've spent the last year plus asking individuals to write 5-6 figure checks to invest in a vision and a future that they can't necessarily see. They have to trust in what I'm building. And so all of that takes humility and really just doing it while scared. And just being able to say, I believe so much in what I'm doing that I'm willing to put myself out there to get other people to invest in it. I'm still baby stepping it. It's still hard for me. There's a lot folks don't know. People kind of see me at an event. I'm zooming around and don't necessarily have a full scope of all that I'm doing. But I realize that the more I'm willing to share and show people what it really looks like, the more they're willing to invest.
And I agree with that 100%. And I think proximity is important, intentional proximity and alignment, and being intentional about the rooms that you're in and making sure that you're making those meaningful connections and being someone that's known before you're needed, right? So that when that time comes, you're able to tap into that resource. Like, wow, I remember meeting that person at that networking event. I remember them saying they knew an angel funder or an angel investor. So just being so intentional about those spaces, especially as an entrepreneur, I think there's a certain level of humility you need to have. But I also think that, entrepreneurs have a little sense of delusional too, right? A little sense of delusional and have that little delusional confidence. So I think all of it comes together, but proximity for sure, humility for sure, and knowing that my husband always says this one thing, he's not self-made, he's God-made, right? And so just understanding that humility side of things as well.
Heavy on the delusion. Heavy on the delusion, because building something like Boston While Black from 2020 to 2026, when we have, we're only living in this time, so we can't compare it to other times, but arguably one of the craziest times in U.S. history, you have to have delusion to believe and see a future that other people just can't tap into yet.
COVID. So 2020, so if I get this right, July 2020, you said, you know what? While every single person is quarantining right now, I'm going to start a business where we could bring people together. Like, what was behind that thought process during that time? And what was the ultimate goal? Because was it, not to say you're driven by money, but was it what was the ultimate goal during that specific time?
Yeah, honestly, I wish I was more driven by money. Honestly, it was solving my own problem. I had moved to Boston. I had been here at that point well over a decade. And so it wasn't that I was still new, but I was still hearing from other people this issue that I had when I came, right? So by 2020, I came here in 2004. So by 2020, I had my own networking community. Most of my friends now are Bostonians. I had done that journey, but when you keep hearing something, it keeps coming up. Because frankly, y'all, I didn't think I was the right person. I'm not from Boston. And so I kept saying okay, I see this issue. I hear people complaining about it. Surely somebody's gonna do something about this. And it just kept coming up. And I really believe I don't think you need to do everything people ask you to do, but I do think if people keep seeing something in you and asking you for a certain thing, I think it's something to pay attention to. I think it's God. I think he continues to put stuff in front of you until you address it.
I agree with that.
And so that was happening. You know, I actually have another business, the Collier Connection, which is 10 this year, which I just realized the other day.
Congratulations, congratulations.
And
Pop it up.
so through that business, I had started doing event planning because I was trying to figure out, I didn't know the business model for connecting yet. And I was like, okay, event seems like the right angle. So I already had that business while I still work full time. What happened specifically with Boston While Black, I hosted an event called Boston While Black, and I gave people the opportunity to come and talk about their experience in Boston. And the two things that rose to the top in that conversation, one was physical space. People was like, it was at a WeWork.
Yep.
And they were like, why don't we have one of these? That's Black owned. Like, we are always asking for space. The second was, people talked about how episodic Boston is. It's all event based. They were like, yeah, we go to Ebony Gala and we go to Steppin' Out and we go to this, but then we gotta wait a whole another year to see those people again. What about in between? Like, I'm not really building any kind of real connection through these events. And so that's what gave me the membership idea.
Yep.
And then I actually initially sought out to build a physical space, and then COVID hit. Like, that actually was what I wanted to do, was like build a social club. I hadn't gotten that far with it, but that's what I felt like, oh, that's the way to solve this. When the pandemic hit, I actually threw my hands up and was like, oh, I guess I'm not gonna be doing any of this because so much of my model is tied to physical events. And then I probably took about 3-4 weeks. This seems regular now, but remember, y'all, we weren't using Zoom like that pre-COVID. I took about 3-4 weeks to teach myself how to run a virtual community. I learned Zoom, I'd StreamYard, like whatever the resources were at the time. And I decided that I was gonna launch this digital community. And I just did it. And everything pointed it to being the wrong time. People are going through, none of us know what's going on. Some people's money is funny because they're home now. Some people's money is better because they're home now. And it's just a time of uncertainty. But what I've learned about launching a business venture, particularly this type of business, it's best to get people when they're in transition, when they're making a decision. They want to do something different. They want to create a new reality. And we gave people the space to do that.
And I love that. And I think what I love about Boston While Black too is because there's so many realms of entrepreneurs, business owners, bankers, teachers. Like, it's such a melting pot of so many young Black professionals. What resources, organizations, programs should every Black buyer, investor in this room know about and be connected to right now, do you think?
I'm not saying this just because I'm here, but I genuinely, and again, this has been, what I love about Boston While Black is I'm not only a client, I'm the player president. Like, I get to create a business. Y'all didn't get my Biggie line? Because I didn't feel like I really, okay, I'm like, what's, but what I love about Boston While Black is I'm solving my own issue.
Yes.
Like, I'm doing things that I really actually need. So being connected to folks like you all and other institutions in the city, we have what I call like a hub and spoke model. Boston While Black's job is not to solve every issue that you have in Boston. Our job is to be a hub of information. We have the people that are the problem solvers as a part of our community, and then you connect with them yourself. Because what was happening was people were always trying to go through me, and people still do. And I try to redirect them like, hey, I don't have the answer, but I built a community where the answer lives. We are the answer to each other's problems. And so come into this community, find the resource that you're looking for, because the people, someone told me before that there was someone they met through Boston While Black that they don't believe in kind of real life, if you will, this person would have interacted with them. But then they go on this digital platform and they're like, I could just DM her and ask her a question. And it's that type of connectivity that we're trying to create. So there's many resources, but genuinely, I think the thing is, like, it's kind of like whatever you're looking for, you can get inside of the community. I want to say something just to what you said around kind of investment in relationships and capital, just as an example of playing the long game around getting people to believe or invest in what you're doing. I mentioned my professional background, but at one time I changed careers and I went to work for the Greater Boston Chamber of Commerce. And through that job, I got exposed. I got relationships with a lot of top CEOs in the city, which is how, when I launched Boston While Black, I was able to broker so many corporate partnerships because I had these corporate relationships. But there was one, he's a major Black CEO in the city, tech CEO, who I created a relationship with. And it's been 10 years, and I'll just say, I didn't start a relationship with him to ask him for investment. I started a relationship with him on a true, authentic level of building. I've kept him abreast all throughout my journey. When I launched Boston While Black, his company became one of our first corporate partners. He became a mentor and advisor. Fast forward to last summer, over a salad at lunch, he wrote me a $25,000 check.
Let's go. Talk about that. Oh my goodness.
And so I'm bringing it up because I do think relationships are capital. And the goal is sometimes, how do you turn those relationships into financial capital? But I just wanted to say it because that's a 10-year span of a relationship. I didn't go to him saying, can you give me $1? And not everything can take that long, but I do think it's important for people to understand about investing in people, investing in each other as a way to further what they're doing.
And I would just want to add a shameless plug at Thumbprint Realty, particularly if you are a new agent coming into our brokerage. We make it a strong requirement to become a member at Boston While Black because there is a wealth of knowledge. Your network is your net worth. And we think it's so, so important to make sure that you're in spaces like this and spaces like Boston While Black to add on and to expand your network and to expand your career. So Sheena Collier, thank you so much for taking the time to do this fireside chat. We are so grateful.